Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 3 of What If Deku Had Time Reaper. In the last part, Deku basically explained that he won't age no matter what happens to him, um, and that he can regenerate from everything that he got so far that would be damage, but his body still gains strength and experiences and blah blah blah, so he can still grow stronger. It's just that his body basically won't age from that moment, which the other people in Class 1A basically said it's kind of like a cheat because after that, well, basically nobody can do anything to you. Or you could rewind someone to basically be as strong as he was in his at his max, and I ended it with they don't know how true that is. So they arrive at the USJ. They weren't ready for, well, actually, they were not ready for what's going to happen next, but when they arrive, they meet 13. Ochako still acts in the same way because it's her favorite hero. Both of them have gravity type quirk, so kind of works well. So they enter the USJ. All Might is there this time, and for a good reason. He doesn't have a time limit. So, um, there's not the thing with Aizawa showing 13 clear finger to say he cannot, that he is at his max. They don't know about his skinny form, but they do know that his power has a limit now because of his injury, so that's still something. Um, well, in the anime, I mean. So in this one, when the portal appeared, I All Might told everyone to run, told Aizawa and 13 to go with the students, and to be honest, he basically does everything himself. The Nomu was made to fight against his weakened state, and in the word of All Might himself, only 3 hits in the power he has right now is enough to kill the Nomu. So, well, not kill, but end the Nomu, so it literally happened fast. And basically, Shigaraki was able to escape again, and basically told, well, against the Nomu, he didn't only use 3 hits, he didn't go at 100% to do it, so he basically took the same, it took the same amount of time and hits. So for Shigaraki, it basically looked as in the anime, so the Nomus won't be more powerful later, simply because All Might didn't go all out to the line. He wasn't angry either, so um, he didn't go all out to just kind of um, take off steam for All Might, literally, in the anime. But yeah, so he basically did the job himself. The students saw the villains, but didn't have to go against them this time. Um, the only thing that it makes is that they have less. Well, they still have the desire to train a lot more because, okay, yeah, villains try to attack us, but there's not the full on. How can I explain this? Um, they don't have this fear of basically fighting them since they didn't face against them. All Might told them that they need to train because of this incident. They still get the week off. Deku basically just does the same training as usual, reversing everything. Basically, by this point, what he does is a little just like he went. Well, he asked Ochako because she did say that well, she told them that their power that about her power. He asked her what her parents' quirk were in this one. Well, let's say just in the boss. I don't even think I actually said that. I don't remember if I did say it or not. Um, so basically, he asked about that. Um, so basically, she told him that it was a um, well, that they were working in construction. He asked if he could actually come and meet them, which she basically thought of it as like boyfriend and girlfriend, but he has so little emotion that he's not even thinking about it like that. So basically, he explained to her that his quirk is great for multiple things, since he can revert anything. Um, if something is damaged or stuff like that, he can literally just rewind it before that happened, or literally rewind an entire zone like that. So, she basically brought him to meet them, explaining that he's a friend from school, then saying that he actually was the one who wanted to meet them because of what they do for work. Also, before going there, she also explained him about the problem, well, money problem, so to not ask too much of them because it could be problematic, which he basically told her that he won't doesn't need anything, so it wouldn't be a problem. So for her it was good. And when they arrived at her house, um, he basically explained that he would like to train his quirk while helping them. He wouldn't even ask for money, and that all he wants to help with is like well, since his quirk can move time, he could basically make a bubble around the entire place and accelerate time for them, so everything would go faster, so they could do the jobs easier. Well, faster, I should say, not easier. Which both of them kind of did think of it as good, but at the same time they didn't really want it at first. Then he explained that well, they ask him, doesn't your won't your parent be worried? Which he explains that his dad is working um over the ocean, and I don't remember where it is that he works, but he works away from the place, and that his mom is dead. So basically, he says that he doesn't need too much to eat, and actually, he can even pay for his own food, so that wouldn't be a problem. And he just wants to help them with the work they have, because it could actually help him train his quirk, as well as help them, well, financially. So they're basically kind of forced to accept after a while. Um, so Deku basically how he does it is exactly like he says. He basically makes a bubble around the entire zone so that in the construction sites, everyone basically see time passing at the same speed for them simply because they are accelerated. Um, and instead of only accelerating their body or stuff like that, he also accelerates their mind. So they basically completely accelerate. So it's not just their body accelerating, being faster and aging faster, and then their mind just kind of seeing stuff slow mo. They're basically just looking at him, um, not moving, and seeing everything else outside of the bubble just in the same way, just not moving as fast. Basically, the job that would normally take around um, 2 or 3 weeks basically happened in an entire day of job, which um, they basically got paid more because they weren't just on time, they were in advance by a huge margin, which after a couple of days basically of doing it like that, which the way they made it was that okay, you come to work, you stay in it, and you sleep. For you, it's going to pass a lot faster than everyone else, thanks to this kid. And basically, like that, they're going to be able to accelerate the project to an extreme speed. Basically, they wanted to pay him at the end because it was really nice of him to do that, but he still refused, saying that he doesn't need money and that all that he wanted to do was actually just help them, which in reality it wasn't for that. It was just that it was helping him train his quirk. Basically, he wanted to make a bubble and train that to basically be able to reverse time itself around himself completely to go back. So he's training for bubbles. He doesn't care if the bubbles are accelerating or slowing time or reversing it. All he wants is to train them. So basically, for the entire week, that's basically what he was doing. So in the end, basically, when they went back, Deku and Ochako stayed for an entire week, basically, kind of living together a bit. Um, Everyone basically explained what they were doing during that time, and then those two basically explained what they were doing, and everyone was like, whoa, okay. With every girl basically looking at Ochako and saying, so, did you go further? Which she basically blushed because, yeah, she loves him. He has no emotions right now, so can't really say the same. So in the end, um, basically she just kind of told them that it wasn't like that, blah blah blah, and that um, it was just for him to train as well as helping her parents at their job, and that was basically it. Which Bakugo, knowing Deku, knowing that by now he has literally no emotions, and hearing that, basically just thinks that poor girl is going to have a wake up call when she learns about the no emotion. Basically, he doesn't even try to get close to anyone. He really just wants to try and get his work better. So, Bakugo doesn't tell them about that, but he tells her don't bring your hopes up. Literally, now she knows that he heard them. Well, they know that he heard them, which they kind of thought a bit weird. Then Momo said, wait, aren't you two friends? Um, don't you know? Well, wouldn't you be able to actually see if he likes her? Which basically, he says, I won't be able to find out even by myself if it's me, simply because he knows that anyway, he probably isn't. Which Deku is, in fact, does start feeling a bit of stuff around Ochako, but he just thinks that it's weird, um, and that, and then he is also trying to make sure that they're not coming out because he doesn't want his emotion to go out of control. Because he also found out that yeah, his when his emotions are in control, well, when he literally has no emotions, they're basically a lot easy. His quirk is a lot easier to control. So he basically has no problem actually doing it, but he still is trying to take those emotions out, just because he doesn't know. After that happened, Aizawa explains about the sports festival, tells them that they are going to train 1 week at school, and then look at Deku and tells him that for him it's going to be a special training, which Deku got a bit worried in that moment because he doesn't know what special training he's going to do, which it's not really anything big. It's mostly that Nezu basically got told by All Might not long afterward. Well, not long after the USJ. Well, about Deku's quirk, because Nezu knew that All Might worked, well, did hero work, and he wasn't getting how All Might was able to continue like that for a while. Wait, no, Nezu got told about his quirk because, yeah, he got healed. There's Recovery Girl that knows about it, and probably also Thomas, the guy on the um, Science Island, because yes, this is going to be in it this time. This is one of the some what ifs that I'm going to do that actually has it inside of it. So, yeah, basically, Deku, um, well, the training he was doing was actually Nezu asking him if, well, to try and see if they were able to use his quirk in different ways. Like, well, a perfect example of what I could use is, wait, well, actually, yeah, the perfect example would be what I was making him do for the training during the 1 week. But what they want him to do right now is actually be in the what are their name? Those that help the hero by creating items are in the sport class. Thank you. So basically, um, what they're doing is every time something goes wrong, you basically reverse that thing so that they can try again. And they basically find that his power doing that is pretty freaking useful. So, yeah, so after a small amount of time, they basically see that, yeah, it's pretty freaking useful in there. Mostly with, I don't remember her name, the girl that calls her inventions her babies, since half of her tanks or explode or are problematic against some people, on some people. So it's really useful with her. She decided to try and create him a special weapon that would be able to use his quirk usefully in it. Basically, trying to pass his quirk through the item, which they basically try to see if he's able to do that first, which he's actually able to do. The problem is that the weapon itself needs, well, firstly, what they found out is that if something is coated in his blood, he can actually, while he's doing a bowl, well, not affect that item. Weirdly, it works like that. The way I'm explaining that is, well, literally like I explained it in my original, even though nobody would have seen it. There was literally only 7 views for 2 videos. Um, since his blood is coating the item, it's basically protecting from the energy that is sent to it. And basically, you just need to coat it once, even if the blood gets off of it afterward. For some reason, it stays. Which, once again, the reason how I explained it is that after that, it's basically imbued with it. Since his blood also uses own quirk, so basically on it, if he activates its quirk, it basically tries to repair itself and basically sticks to the object for, well, ever. So the object basically gets imbued with the same capacity as him, which is an unbreakable item basically. Well, not unbreakable, but it repairs itself automatically. And they decided to shape it in, well, she decided to shape it so that it basically makes a sight because, yeah, she's just crazy. Like, the power loader said that it wasn't hero-like to have something like that, which she decided to say, yeah, but his power can literally be used to take, well, stop people, but he needs to dodge them or use a bubble that stops everyone around him. So what would be better? Something like that, a staff, or whatever. With this, he can also do a lot more. Like, he could slash at someone, but simply remove that damage afterward by healing them. Which Power Loader is still not convinced about that, which she decides to basically make a staff instead. That still has the blade that can just switch uh, um, in and out basically, so it can be a simple staff or it can become a sight, which Deku basically keeps because yeah, it can still be useful. So yeah, basically it ends up being that. Back in class later, basically that's at the end of the week that she gives him, and basically they decide to actually say um, he decided to basically go into class, and they basically asked him how his training was going because he was still coming to class for stuff. But when it wasn't a class absolutely needed, he was actually going there. Well, actually, he was going there for half of the day and basically doing that. So, yeah. So, let's go start the first part of the event for the sports festival, and I'm going to end it there after that. So, wait, no. Pretty sure if I started, you would. Some people might say I should have finished it, so I'm going to end up. Well, I'm going to end it here. Tomorrow, I'm going to do another part of this, so it's not going to be too much wait. So, hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment to if you have questions and stuff like that. And I'm going to leave a link to my Discord in the description. So if you will want to join the party, just come and join. Yeah, so Natsu out.